even for as long as I can remember going back to grade school, I've just never had any kind of successful relationship that lasted.
Meet Max. He wants to know the truth about his internet connection with this woman.
She's 28, very beautiful, young, brunette, well endowed females wise, clean, detail oriented as far as like her cleanliness and her makeup and all that. She hasn't had anyone treat her the way I try to treat her.
Every time Mary Amber had a problem, Max would send a gift card.
A lot of them started becoming like, hundreds after a while. But it's mostly been these.
Max has been sending everything he has left over to fund this woman's life and keep her mother alive.
I think she was terminally ill with leukemia. She's in pretty bad shape.
Real quick, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Your comment and like could help stop someone from being scammed. Let's get into it.
Hello, my name is Maximilian. I am a 33-year-old gentleman out in Wichita, Kansas. I do like sports, and I do like geeky stuff, like video games. No wife or children. I'm an electrical engineering student that's about ready to graduate. As far as relationships, I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that I've never been successful. And what I mean is, even for as long as I can remember going back to grade school, I've just never had any kind of successful relationship that lasted. The furthest I went was like a makeout session, but I guess you could say I've had intercourse, but it wasn't more than it wasn't multiple times with the same person. It was sort of like a one-night stand type of situation. The last time I did that was so far long ago, actually, I may as well be a virgin because I was 22 at the time, and here I am, 33, 34. The best I've had up until recently was maybe looking at people from afar and possibly being an acquaintance, which in my opinion is different from an actual friend. But without a shadow of a doubt, I can't say that I've had any kind of high school sweetheart or even an elementary school girlfriend. So yeah, I've never really had a steady girlfriend. I had a conversation with a coworker of mine, told me, I'm a decent young fellow, I should put myself out in the market. And I'm like, you're right, man. I might try it.
Max has had no luck meeting women in person. This is when he decided to create a dating profile. That's when he was approached by this woman going by the name of Mary Amber.
She said, hey, how's it going? Or something of that nature. And I said, good. How are you? Of course, complimented her. She complimented me. Since then, it's evolved into daily communication. She's 28, very beautiful, young, brunette, well-endowed females-wise, clean, detail-oriented as far as like her cleanliness and her makeup and all that. Could be a supermodel. Definitely desirable, in my view, from pretty much 90 to 95% of men. Despite the way I may look or come off initially, she's got to be out of her damn mind if she's going to talk to me when there's like a million other guys out there that are better. Maybe that's not objectively true, but I was shocked that she would even like consider talking to me, period. But based on initial interactions and conversations, she hasn't had anyone treat her the way I try to treat her. Started telling her about my routine for my job at the time and my education. Simple interactions like, have you eaten today? Have you checked up on your health? I asked her what she did for a living, or how she's living her life. We don't really argue. I mean, we've had a few disagreements, and that's just normal, But otherwise, most of the things are always positive. We always check up on each other. We give each other selfies. And a couple of explicit things too, kind of getting juicy and exposing each other, sort of like foreplay, I guess, if you want to call it that. Plus, from my experience so far, she's a, God-loving and God-fearing woman, which helps. She goes to church frequently, and, I pray with her, and so on and so forth. Since then, it's grown into what I would consider a semi-successful situation where we commune daily. During maybe a certain challenge that her or I might experience, she preys on it and hopes that it gets better. I do too. She's supportive for sure. She loves me, and I love her too. She's got two split households. Occasionally, she'll go out to her mother and her stepdad's location, which is in a town about 45 minutes southwest of my location. I don't own a vehicle. Neither does she. She eventually told me that she was flat broke. I can understand because she lives in a small town where good jobs or even something halfway remotely decent are scarce. Because, she lives in a town of like maybe 40,000 people or so. There's not very many good jobs unless you come to the big city like Kansas City or Wichita. Basically, she's unemployed and I'm supporting her. We're both family orientated. She's working on herself and taking care of her folks, namely her, stepmom. And I'm like, I'll help you just because you seem like a decent person and I know you won't take advantage of me. She didn't ask for a whole lot, she just was running out of food and she hadn't worked for a long time. I told her that I'll help her as much as I can as long as we're together, so it's no issue. It wasn't really that much. It was roughly $50 or $75 or something like that. And then over time, I've increased it, especially as I began to strengthen my bond with her.
Max was willing to do anything to make sure that the two kept their bond alive. He felt sending money to Mary Amber was a way of showing her love. She never asked him directly. She would just open up to him about the horrible things that were going on in her life. And Max was willing to attempt to fix these problems.
She is nursing her stepmother, who is terminally ill with cancer, and she's afraid to leave town because she's afraid that her stepmom can't take care of herself because her dad has to work all the time. I think she was terminally ill with leukemia. She's in pretty bad shape. A couple occasions, not too many occasions, where I kind of had to let her wait a long while in between. My mom hasn't worked a decent job since 2008. Her health has been kind of on the downward end too, even though she's trying to get better. I've had to step up and help my dad. But, I made up to her. I kind of increased it up to like 100, maintained that for a while, and then eventually 150, maintained that for a while, and then 200. I also used it as a mechanism to maintain our bond and to garner her attention a little bit more. I'll support you because I care for you, especially now that we've established some sort of bond. So I'll maintain this, so long as you're willing and able to work with me with my limited contributions for the moment, can, really, really bond together. Potential husband or wife or true lovers and boyfriend and girlfriend. Leading up to that point, I'm like, hey, dear, this is what I've got for you. She's like, okay. Yeah, that's great.
Max would send Mary Amber money for food, bills, and her mother's medicine. He even picked up a second job to help her out even more. Every time he would get paid, he'd pay his bills, and whatever he had left would go straight to Mary Amber through gift cards.
Basically every pay period, sometimes more than one, like a couple during after I would get paid. And my pay periods were bi-weekly, because for a long time I only had one job. Otherwise I would have probably more than this. Some of them have my receipts folded into them, but a lot of them started becoming like, hundreds after a while. Like these custom ones that don't have a specific amount. Like I think for this one, I gave her like 200 or something like that. Or, basically, I've kept pretty much everything, just as a safe keep, I guess, if you want to call it that, or as a reminder, like, hey, this is what I've done for real. This is for real. But it's mostly been these. I did that, a couple days short on gas money or, lunch money. It was tough, but, at the same time, like, it was going to be tough anyway, having to budget out the rest of my money. I try not to overspend, especially when I eat. I try to make sure I have something, on the backside, just in case, I have $0 in the account and can't spend anymore.
Max has sacrificed all of his financial stability to meet this person face to face. Yet, the problems seem to pile up more and more every day. This is when he reached out to us. He wants to know the truth about Mary Amber, but wants all of this to be real.
I'm not 100% sure if there's an ulterior motive. I don't think so, because she doesn't seem malicious. But she already told me how her lifestyle was before she met me, and I've accepted that because nobody's perfect, man. Not even me, man. Come on, Honestly, I will say that, like, I do believe she really loves me, just like how I really love her. I also had some doubts just because, physically we weren't with each other. But, there's the unknown, which is why I'm talking to you now, hoping that everything is truly sincere, like, especially when I can see it for myself. And I'm hoping, through you guys, I can not only have closure in that, so that way we could further establish a relationship, but, I could eventually see for myself.
All right, Seekers, it was time to get to work. Max was actively sending gift cards to Mary Amber, and that needed to come to a stop ASAP. When we looked at all of the photos that Mary Amber would send to Max, something just seemed off about them. And judging by her backgrounds in these photos, it was a huge doubt that this woman would need any money for groceries. So we have this new case. It's a man named Max. He's never had much luck dating. So this one he's hoping is like the one that's gonna be the girl that he's gonna marry and settle down with. I felt really bad for him because this being his first girlfriend, all the red flags in the story, right? The reasons of why she needs money.
The way he's sending the money, gift card.
Yep. She sends him this photo of her grandmother that looks like she's on life support.
And this is why she needs gift cards.
Yep. Both of them have some family issues going on. Both have to step up in their households, paying the rent at their house, paying bills, buying food. Not only is her mom in the hospital, but Max's mom is also having health issues. So that's how they kind of built the bond together. Kind of seemed like she's mirroring his
life. Yeah, I would say so, except Max isn't asking her for gift cards.
He's not.
It's a second job to support the gift cards. Is that correct?
Yes. The person behind this profile of Mary Amber targeted Max's mother's illness and his single status. They were able to recognize Max's vulnerabilities and use them to their advantage.
He's also talking to these other women as well.
There's other women?
Yeah, there's other women. So we have Mary Amber. This is obviously not the same person. And then we have this woman here, not the same person as those other two women. And this is all from Max, correct?
Yeah, this is all emails from Max.
The other one. And then even in the image, it's saying, babe, I love you. If this is the woman that he loves, he has a second job, to support her. Why is he talking to all these other women?
Oh, we went from first girlfriend.
Yeah, we went from no girlfriends to 5.
To a lot of girlfriends.
Yeah.
But it looks like he's sending money to some of them.
Yeah, he is.
Damn.
I mean, and they're saying I love yous.
And he's saying I love you too.
Enjoy my love. I love you, babe.
I'll get a tracker over him.
Okay.
And then we'll meet with him tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Max was in communication with many other women that he never mentioned in his initial interview. All of them at some point sent revealing photos of themselves. These girls had to be fake, and our team needed to come with proof. Brianne dug into the research, and I contacted Mary Amber. All right, guys, so I reached out to Mary Amber. I just wanted to show Max how many people she's probably speaking to. Seekers, stick around until the end. Mary Amber and I got a little flirty through text message. We'll even track the location of this person. Finally clicked on it. This is where Mary Amber is. And Brianne and I will break the news to Max.
I think she's gorgeous. Probably the best person I've personally talked to in a while in that regard.
Do you trust her?
More now than I did when we first met, of course.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. You can help us reach our new milestone of 1 million subscribers. Your engagement with our videos helps boost our visibility to new audiences, and we'll be able to help more people. We appreciate it, and your support means the world to us. A few days later, our team was confident that we were able to deliver the truth to Max. So we set up another call with him. Welcome, Max. Thank you for hopping on with us today.
I'm actually curious and excited to see what you guys have came up with.
Let's talk about Mary Amber, right?
Last time I spoke to her was probably maybe about 9:30 this morning in my direction.
How did that conversation go?
We usually have good conversations. We don't really argue or anything like that. She knows that I work 2 jobs now and everything, and she has a general grasp of what I'm doing at any moment, really, as far as like my actual schedule and all that is concerned.
Tell me some of the reasons why you're, helping her out.
She's somebody that I feel, despite the lack of any physical interactions, actually also cares for me as well.
Well, what's the impact
for you to not be able to physically be with Mary Amber?
It's crazy because I don't necessarily have the accessibility to do that. You know, I suppose I probably could at some point, especially now that I work 2 jobs, and that's my goal.
But why not just like Uber or Lyft to her?
The cost of Lyft or Uber at that point kind of exceeds my budget. Because I've looked, and you know, there are some that would, but at that point, that would cost me roughly $400 one round trip.
You sent so much money to her, right?
We've had those conversations, truly.
Instead of giving her money, say, hey, look, I'm gonna use this money towards driving over and coming and visiting you.
What's kind of prevented me was that, like, I haven't been able to like lump sum an entire amount like that in one setting. It's been like 100 here or there. Now it's more like 200 at most tops, because she still doesn't really know my true income.
But you're working to like basically fund her life.
Yeah, I've done that for sure.
What is it about her that's making you like fall in love with her?
We don't necessarily argue. I feel like she's the one. And I'm not saying like the perfect relationship is like all gumdrops and ice cream, but it's like she's a person that I can amicably solve any kind of issues with if we have those without having to like go through an entire day of arguing. You know what I mean? Of course, I'm not really a perfect person either. I think she's gorgeous. Probably the best person I've personally talked to in a while in that regard. And, you know, with me being in my early 30s now, it's only gonna be a matter of time before, no matter what money I have or what I look like, I may not necessarily be a desirable person because, like, oh, that guy's old, it's really nobody, whatever, you know.
Your thoughts are that you're gonna get old and nobody's gonna want you?
For sure. Anyone that I would consider desirable.
How old are you?
I'm 33 right now, but what I'm saying is that, like, I won't be as marketable as if I were like 20.
I'm confused.
When you're a 40-year-old guy, you're old and nobody really cares for you unless you got money. And
How do you know that? Because you're not 40.
I've had a lot of people within my social circle that have been through all kinds of ups and downs with that are 40. And, you know, they're either divorcees and they have been disgruntled marriages, maybe have had some sort of dating life before they might have broken up with somebody. None of it lasting. I'm not saying that my chances with Mary per se are going to be the best, but
Do you trust her?
I do now. I mean, more now than I did when we first met, of course.
I didn't do this to have an aha moment with you or to poke fun at your relationship with her. I reached out to Mary Amber and I spoke to her. What she wrote me back doesn't reflect what you think about her at all. So first message I sent her was, I'm sorry. I just kept it very vague because these romance scammers, they don't even pay attention to who they're talking to because they're usually talking to like 30 other maxes out there. So I just want to make things right with you. She says, okay. And I'm going to reply with, it's Jason. You don't remember me, baby? See what she replies. She's very responsive.
Truthfully, I care for her a lot, but I don't have the expectation where she's going to be 100% loyal, especially with me working all the time. Does that make sense?
Is that the relationship that you feel you want and you're okay with?
If we do evolve, we'll finally be okay. And what I mean is like, hey, if you're really going to be with me, there's nobody else.
Try to video call her. She declined it. You can send me your pictures.
It's also pretty tough when you're long distance, and especially when you're working 80 hours a week and you don't talk at like every single moment.
Max, that's not an excuse though. Like, it's not okay for. I'm gonna read you the rest of these messages.
Sure.
And you'll kind of see where we're going with this, but it's not an excuse for you to be, you know, a 2-hour drive away from her and her to be entertaining guys online like me. All right, Seekers. I went ahead and just sent a photo of myself. Let's see what she says. And I called her baby. So then I start sending her kissy notes and hearts, and she's sending me kissy notes and hearts back. I just met her 2 minutes ago, and now she's sending me heart emojis and kissy emojis. Does this sound like somebody that cares about you?
I would still say she does, but not as strongly as it should.
I don't get the feeling that you care about her or she cares about you.
That's a fair assessment. I mean, and that's why we're here. Appreciate that, actually. You did me a solid, for real.
Are you entertaining this woman because of her looks?
No, I mean, like, I actually cared for her as a person. I mean, at first, yeah. Like, of course, I was like, damn, she's hot, she's fine.
The thing is when we look at these other women that you're speaking to, they all, fit the same profile.
Mary was the only one for the longest time.
So what we did is we looked at each of those images.
Who is this?
Christian Burnett.
We ran a reverse image search and we found that that is not who the person is. Her real name is Lena, and she has her own Instagram channel. It's Lena the Plug. She has a YouTube with her and her husband. So that is not who that person is. She also has an OnlyFans.
And who is this?
She was a woman out in San Antonio, Texas, from what I understand.
This is a woman by the name of Emily Black. She has a huge OnlyFans following, her own Instagram.
Who is this?
That one is Hannah.
She's definitely not the person you think. Her name is not Hannah. Her name is Haven, and she is an OnlyFans model, just like Emily Black and just like Lena.
The last identity was Mary Amber's, and Brienne and the search team were able to find out who this person that you're so in love with really is in these images. Are you ready for that?
Sure.
So her name is not Mary Amber. Her real name is Liliana, and she's an OnlyFans model as well.
I appreciate that.
Liliana, Lena, Hannah, all of these women, all of their identities were stolen.
Fair enough. I'm ultimately disappointed, but better to find out now than maybe like 5 years from now.
Well, what do you want to do with Mary Amber?
Well, that's done, but that's all right.
When we're researching these women, they all had a pattern. Every single one of these scammers that you were speaking to had access to a huge amount of explicit photos of all these women. Were you sending money to these women because they were in return sending you these types of photos?
Initially, yes, but I thought they were like actually people. Yeah. But now that I know what I know now, no.
In your heart, you really felt like these women were real.
Let me backtrack. Mary, yes. The other ones, no.
When I was speaking to Mary Amber, I was able to get her a link Brienne created for me.
Can you make me a tracker?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm talking to her right now, look.
Who is it?
The Amber.
Oh, I got you.
Finally clicked on it. Are these all the clicks?
Right here.
Oh, okay, perfect. This is where Mary Amber is. So after all that,
we were able to grab her IP address, and it came back to Lagos, Nigeria.
You know, I hate to say it, but there's a high probability that the majority of these women in these profiles, they were probably men.
And you're sending photos of yourself.
What could happen in some of these cases is what we call sextortion. You're exchanging these images, and then later on, should you cut these people off, they could come after you and hold these pictures ransom, and they will blackmail you into sending them money to keep them from exposing your images to your friends, your family on social media. And so this is just one of the tactics they use.
Again, that's why I reached out to you guys. Sorry it took so long, just because, we had timing issues as far as linking up, but in the end, you've confirmed my suspicions.
If you think you need some counseling for this type of stuff, let us know.
I'll let you know for sure. But I think from here on out, I'll be okay. Now that I know the truth.
It was rough breaking the truth to Max, but we think he took it pretty well. What do you all think? Let us know in the comment section below.
You did great. Like, exceptional, bro. World class. Everybody needs you guys. No question. You guys are probably the best in the world. Truly.
Thank you, Max.
Thanks, Max.
Yeah. You know, I truly mean that. Like, for real, thank you.
You're welcome.
Because with this in mind, I feel like some shackles have been released. Because I wasn't quite convinced. And now I'm certain. So.
I'm proud of you,
Yeah,
Max.
that's great.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, a little disappointed. Of course, I'm not going to get any of that back, but that's fine because I'll make more and there's nothing else to be given.
I mean, what are you going to do with all this money that you're not going to be sending?
Think I'll get a car.
There you go.
There you go.
I love you guys, for real, man.
We love you too, man.
Thank you so much, Max.
Appreciate you guys.
See you, man.
All right. Have a great
Take
day.
care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.